Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. So, Jay, I wanted you and I to get together to talk about some of the comments that we've seen from Team Crawford since the Errol Spence fight and how those comments have changed over the course of several months. Now, initially after the fight and Canelo Alvarez's name was first brought up, we heard that there are weight classes for a reason. Following that, maybe like a week or so later, as Terence Crawford was going on his world tour, we started to hear Canelo Alvarez, and maybe it would be at a catch weight. Maybe that was possible. And then after that was rejected from Canelo Alvarez, then we heard Crawford mention that he would be willing to go all the way to 168 for the opportunity to fight Canelo Alvarez. Now, personally, I've always thought that was a mistake because he's a smaller guy moving up from 35, going all the way up to 168. I think that's a big challenge. But not only that, we got a monster currently sitting at the division in the name of David Benavidez that most would like to see in the ring with Canelo Alvarez. So I've always been opposed to the fight, or at least opposed to it being the next fight. Maybe a fight after Benavidez is fine. But Jay, I want to play this clip from Bomac because there's been a stark change in how he's presented this fight. Now, originally, when asked about this fight, he would provide little, and then he started to transition to say things like, well, obviously Bud sees something that he can beat, all the way to the comment that I'm about to play right now, Jay. So let me play this clip real quick so the people that are listening can hear it and understand what it is that we're about to respond and react to. So let me play it real quick.
How does Terence match up with Canelo?
Bud beats
How though? How does that look?
outboxing, just outboxing him.
What about the weight though?
It don't matter. Bud been fighting big people all day, all fight.
Yeah.
It'd be Errol Spence and Crawford too.
All over again.
All right. So he said a mouthful there very quickly. So first and foremost, he starts off talking about, the boxing skills and just the ability to outbox Canelo Alvarez. But again, he has a completely different style. And there are a lot of people that are on our platform that feel that he'll be able to come in and be dominant and be able to take advantage of the lack of footwork from Canelo Alvarez. FSU Walt comes to mind. Shout out to FSU Walt. He's always on the channel, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Sunday. So make sure you guys join us. But, there's a stark difference between the style of Terence Crawford and the style of Floyd Mayweather. Floyd is the defensive fighter that can counter out of a defensive posture, whereas Terence Crawford is more of an offensive fighter. And I just don't see the same styles. And like I said before, Terence Crawford does not have the same lateral movement, which will be required in order to get out of the way of the shots from Canelo Alvarez. And then to add on to that, the level of power from Canelo will be something different than what he's seen. I don't care who he's been sparring with in the ring. Sparring is quite different than being in the ring without that headgear on and smaller gloves. So I just don't see how that transitions or translates into Terence Crawford moving up to 168. And then he mentions David Benavidez. Well, he mentions size. And size is only an issue when it's David Benavidez. We want to talk about measurables and weights and all this other stuff. But when it comes to everybody else, it's about the skills, and the size don't matter. So all of those things are very interesting, Jay. It's just interesting to me how quickly they've changed their stance. And can he beat Canelo? I doubt it because I don't think that's the same style. But we'll see. What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, they just keep moving the goalposts on the situation here. I mean, to your point, initially, Crawford's almost like, no, not fighting Canelo. They made weight classes for a reason. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, catch weight, and then all of a sudden, now he wants to fight him. And it's about a payday. It's not about, it's about a payday. People already, a lot of even Bud fans are like, right now, Bud can do what he wants to do because it's about payday. He doesn't have to prove anything else for legacy. Okay, cool. I get that. So in a prior video, a reporter asked Bomac, is there any amount of money he'd tell Bud to take the Benavidez fight? Bomac said, hell no, F no, what for? So that lets you know the money ain't the thing no more. So it's not legacy, it's not money, it's just about opportunity. And he also stated, he said, Bud got his eyes set on Canelo, so obviously he sees something he can beat. So it's not a challenge, it's just you see something that you think you see something you can beat. So that's fine. I wouldn't have a problem with Bud facing Canelo if David Benavidez wasn't already there and been waiting in the wings for some time. If he fights Benavidez first and then fights Bud later, second, I'm fine with that. Now, do I think Bud beats Canelo? I think he has more skills, yes. But a really good little guy versus a really good big guy, usually the notion is the really good big guy is going to beat the really good little guy. There's 3 weight classes coming up. I know he fights big guys in sparring, but to your point, it's sparring. It's different when you have those guys with the heavier hands hitting you actually in a ring without headgear on. And Canelo's going to try to knock your hands off, your hip out of place, your thigh out of place. I mean, hell, just look at the Bivol fight, how he had Bivol all bruised up, and Bivol's a bigger guy. So, and that's a big difference for someone smaller like Terence. But I'm just tired of flip-flopping. I don't have a problem with Canelo facing Bud if it's after Canelo faces Benavidez. But the guys on some of the Bud fans being like, no, it's the measurables, but obviously it ain't. Bomac literally said it. In one video, he said, it's not, the size doesn't matter. So now we're talking about height, because apparently, according to BoxRec, Bud and Benavidez have the same reach. So there's no difference in reach on that at all. So it's all about opportunity. And if it's about the bag, that's cool. But Bomac said it wasn't about the bag because he wouldn't care what the bag was. He would tell him not to face Benavidez. So we're gonna see what their next narrative is going to be with them on this. And this is not coming from Bud. Bud hasn't really said anything about it. I just know Bud is golfing right now, so maybe that's his way of trying to get to Canelo in a quick way.
I don't think it's going to be through golfing. But I mean, listen. To say that this is going to be similar to Spence versus Crawford, it'd be like Spence versus Crawford too. So you're basically telling me that you're going to come in and you're going to literally dominate Canelo Alvarez, a guy that is 14 pounds, or what is it? I'm sorry, it's 47, 21. So it's 21 pounds higher. And you're going to go up there, a guy that's skilled, a guy that's a top 5 pound-for-pound fighter as well. Now, understand that Spence was also a top pound-for-pound fighter as well at the time in which Terence Crawford beat him. But he's moving up against a guy that's at a higher weight class, punches harder, and has a different skill set. And I get when people try to compare what they would deem being flat-footed, right? Errol Spence, flat feet. Canelo Alvarez, flat feet, but their styles are quite different. And all you got to do is watch both of these guys in the ring. Their styles are quite different. So you're telling me, this is what they're telling me. They're telling me that Canelo Alvarez can be competitive against Bivol, who is taller than Terence Crawford, has a greater, or probably a similar reach to Terence Crawford, heavier than Terence Crawford, probably punch harder than Terence Crawford. And that's a competitive fight with Bivol moving around, right? But somehow Terence Crawford will move up there and blow Canelo out. Think about that, bro. Canelo fought a guy at 175, and they were moving around, and he implemented movement and all this stuff. And it was still a competitive fight, but somehow Crawford will blow him out. That's bizarre to me, dog. Yeah,
Bud can do anything, bro.
That's bizarre to me, man. He leaps buildings in a single bound. You guys tell us what you think in the comment section in regards to this particular fight. Will Terence Crawford be dominant if he gets the opportunity to face Canelo Alvarez? Bomac says by KO. I'm pretty sure Bernie the Boxer would say the same. Let us know what you think. Don't forget to hate, like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Angry Man Podcast, and we are out.